Today we are going to be taking a look at even more Strixhaven cards, this time in the color red. I'm going to be going through a few cards that really stand out to me in this color, and I'm going to jump right into it. Crackle with power. Hot dang. You'd have to pay at least 5. However, you can play 5, 8, 11 mana, etc. Whatever X is, Crackle with power deals 5 times X damage to each of X up to X targets, which this would be great for a commander deck because you can have multiple targets. The thing that cracks me up about Crackle with power is you would only need, let's see, 4, 12, 13, 14, you would need 14 mana. Oh gosh, that is actually a lot of mana. I suppose if you have cards, extra cards that give you mana in additional to your, oh, I need to learn. In addition to your lands, this would be a fine card to play. You would only need 14 mana to bring someone down from 20 life to 0. And that's only if they're starting at 20. This one looks so useful, especially for mid to late game, and especially if you're able to get your, like, even, I mean, oh my goodness, even if you're able to get your opponent down to 10 health, spend 8 mana, which mid game, hopefully you're not being mana screwed, but if you have your mana all in line, just hit them for 10 damage. Spend 8, deal 10 damage. I think that's a pretty good deal. And that's only if you have 8 mana. Imagine if you had 11 mana, that's 15 damage. 14 mana is 20 damage. So unless you're dealing with unless you're dealing with an opponent who has been gaining life, that's a pretty sweet deal to me. This one right here, I want to try it. I want to try it. This one looks really fun. After scanning through red, I can see red pairing really well with black in this series, and there are 2 cards that make me say that. First one is Fuming Effigy. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, Fuming Effigy deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's really nice. I don't think that this stacks, so say if you play this with Infinity, Eternal, Harness Infinity, it exchanges your hand and graveyard, so those cards from your graveyard are leaving the graveyard, which would trigger this, but it says whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard, which makes me think, oh, it's only going to trigger once, which that would be a very OP combination if it was just whenever each card leaves the graveyard, or whenever 1 card leaves the graveyard. I don't know how it would be worded for it to stack, but it'll only happen once no matter how many cards are leaving your graveyard. However, if you're also casting from your graveyard, it's a really nice source of opponent's health that you're draining. On top of that, it's a spirit that can hold itself up. It's a 4-costing 4/3. It's pretty basic, but I think it would pair really well with some of the black cards that are in Strixhaven, not to mention in other sets as well. The other card that makes me think that red is going to do really well with black is Illuminate History. You can discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. Then if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Let's first start off with the fact that this is a lesson, which means, again, you just have to own this card. Just own it, and then have cards in your deck that let you learn and pull lessons from into the game. So this doesn't even have to take up space in your deck. On top of it, discard any number of cards. You can just dump your whole hand if you wanted to. Create that 3/2 red and white spirit creature token, and if say you're playing with black, green, and red, I think black and green were the colors of the Infinity card. Endless Infinity, I think it was called. There you go. You can just grab those cards back. No biggie. Windows, please be quiet. I feel like with the number of lesson cards that have been revealed to us, not to mention the extra lessons that we're gonna get to play with once this set is released, I think it's gonna make it a lot easier to play a 5-color deck. What would that be called? A rainbow deck? I don't know. There are a lot of cards in red that I'm really enjoying. But hot dang, Retriever Phoenix. Okay, I've played with phoenixes before. They are so fun. I love this one because flying, haste, you know, flying especially comes with having a phoenix. When it enters the battlefield, you can learn. Again, grab your lesson or discard to draw a card. But its ability, as long as Retriever Phoenix is in your graveyard, if you would learn, you may instead return a Retriever Phoenix to the battlefield. You don't just have to return it, Retriever Phoenix, to your hand. You return it straight to the battlefield, which I love. I'm super excited for this, and I have to make a deck that just is solely based on learning, because I really want to play cards like this that can just really agitate my opponent with my little shenanigans. I see my wonderful Boros colors, my red-white. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Okay, especially considering that this set alone deals a lot with giving counters, +1/+1 counters to creatures and buffing them up that way. This can come into handy. I love it. I wish it were an enchantment, because enchantments are a bit harder to remove from the battlefield, and this is a creature card. However, I am super excited to play it nonetheless. Again, I wish it were an enchantment, but it's still a really cool ability. Thank you so much for joining me. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to like it for the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're interested in seeing more content like this, feel free to subscribe, and let me know what you think about some of the cards that I pointed out today down below in the comments. Also, if you are a fellow Magic player, feel free to come chill with me on Twitch. I am starting to really pick up on Magic the Gathering Arena, so if that is your thing, feel free to hop online and say hello. But I hope you have a wonderful morning, day, evening, night, whenever, wherever you are, and stay safe.